Hey there, everybody. Jason here to talk about another episode of Only Murders in the Building. I'm going to talk about episode 8 of season 2 titled Hello Darkness. Obviously, I'm going to be talking spoilers about this week's episode, so if you haven't watched it yet, head on over to Hulu and check it out. I'm going to also be talking spoilers on Only Murders in the Building, period. So if you haven't watched that at all, what are you doing here watching this video first? I would suggest turning off this video and going to watch Only Murders in the Building now, and then check out all my other videos before you get to this one. Now that we've gotten through that spoiler warning, let's go ahead and dive in. So, picking up where last week's episode left off with the Blackout, we start from the perspective of Marv, the older of the superfans. We also find out through Marv's narration about this rumored Third Avenue slasher, who he said had a specific MO on his targets, but not really, and specifically attacked on Third Avenue, but not really. I thought that was a funny bit. Anywho, Charles is very concerned about Lucy because she is in his apartment all by herself, and the killer is after her, thanks to we got that revelation thanks to Mabel and last week's episode. So the three of them are trying to get back to the Arconia to keep Lucy safe. In the meantime, Ivan, the waiter at the Pickle Diner, approaches Oliver about taking all the dips because they're going to go bad. And who's going to say no to a bunch of free dip? Definitely not Oliver Putnam. Back at the Arconia, there's already turmoil. Everybody in the building is freaking out due to the blackout. Ursula's using it as an opportunity to sell some gut milk. Nina asks Lester to deliver a package to her up 14 flights of stairs. And Howard Morris, the cat guy, is contemplating a new sublet in the building named Jonathan, who he thinks is a very cute man. And Dr. Grover tries to convince him to ask him out. But he says he's pretty content with his life. As the trio arrives at the building, they realize they have to take the stairs. Oliver is informed that they have to take the stairs, much to his chagrin. So as the three of them are heading up the stairs, Oliver has to sacrifice his dips because he can't muster up the strength to go on. And things start to look better for Howard, because this Jonathan guy, he tries to come up with the excuse to go over to his place, which is, I need batteries for my flashlight. And this Jonathan guy has the same exact excuse. So Howard tries to use that excuse, but then turns that into, I have lots of candles, so he invites him in. Meanwhile, Lucy, home, alone in Charles's place without power or any kind of phone reception because the cell towers are overworked because everybody's trying to get in touch with everybody else in this blackout. Someone breaks in the door wearing a blue jumpsuit similar to the jumpsuit that was worn by the killer. So presumably, yes, the killer has broken into Charles's apartment and is after Lucy. She frantically makes her way to the secret passage in the bathroom, and the killer follows her as she's being pursued by the mystery man or woman. As she thinks she's about to be discovered, another light startles her pursuer, and they flee into the rest of the catacombs. Charles, Oliver, and Mabel arrive at Charles's apartment to find that it's been broken into. They step into the catacombs to follow Lucy. Howard's kind of date with Jonathan is going well. And they sing / yodel Hello Darkness, My Old Friend by Simon and Garfunkel, and what I think is probably one of the most fun musical sequences in the show to date. So while still searching through the catacombs, Lucy finds Charles, Oliver, and Mabel, and that, she's been pursued by the killer. It is then that the revelation comes out that she has seen the killer. She was there that night. Charles isn't happy about it, but she tells them that the killer sneezed in the catacombs. It is at that point that Jonathan sneezes in Howard's apartment because Jonathan is allergic to cats, and Howard is allergic to pets, and Howard has a cat. Back in the catacombs, a light is shown on the four of them, and they're being pursued by what appears to be the killer. They make their way out of the catacombs, and the lights come back on, and Mabel subdues their pursuer, and it turns out to be Marv, who, upon overhearing the trio talk about Lucy and how she might be in danger, he decided to suit up in his mold inspector gear and make his way into the secret passages of the Arconia to make sure that she was okay. It is that at that moment that it is revealed that Marv might have actually saved Lucy because he scared the real killer off. And Marv is just trying to do something to be a better person in his daughter's eyes, which we can all, we can relate to that. Howard goes to Jonathan's door and says he's going to get rid of Sevelin and clean up, his apartment, use a lint roller and everything if he would go out on a real date. And Jonathan agrees, only if Howard decides not to get rid of this cat. And finally, back in the lobby of the Arconia, as everybody is kind of composing themselves and gathering themselves, oh, well, wait a minute. Let me rewind back. So Lester delivers the package in Nina's apartment. Lester delivers the package and puts together. It's a baby swing for her newborn, and Lester helps put it together. He sees the drawing of the mysterious space pod, and because Nina's all about modernizing and automation and everything. And through talking to Lester and getting to know him, she realizes that the human element at the Arconia is the most important thing. So she decides to shift him from being just a regular doorman to the director of guest relations of relations, or I don't remember how she worded that, but something much better than what he's doing. Hopefully, we'll see. But in the final moments, in the lobby of the Arconia, Detective Cripps is there because supposedly he was in the neighborhood and wanted to check on everyone to make sure that they were okay. Mabel's a bit more suspicious than that, especially because he says after that whole incident on the subway, he could take her away right now. And she's wondering why he hasn't. It's then when Howard, coming through the lobby to go on his date with Jonathan, bumps into Detective Cripps's arm, and Detective Cripps reacts in a way that like his arm is sore because he, quote, got a new tattoo. Then as Marv is standing kind of watching over Mabel and Detective Cripps's conversation, Detective Cripps looks over at Marv, is kind of like a "what are you looking at, weirdo?" And as his head is turned towards Marv, Mabel sees a streak of red glitter on his neck. That is right, folks. Detective Cripps is Glitter Guy. So whether he is the killer or not is yet to be determined. I'm gonna say he probably is, and we'll find out motive and means and everything hopefully within the next couple episodes, because there are 2 more episodes left of this season. Oliver pointed out a very interesting theory through this episode, that it could possibly be more than one person. And that goes back to Jonathan sneezing in Howard's apartment. People are starting to think that maybe he's a suspect. He might be. I'm not counting anyone out at this point. We're so close to the end. There are so many possibilities. It could be just about anybody. My money's on Detective Cripps as being suspect number 1. So, with 2 episodes left, we're almost to the finish line, and I can't wait to see how this is going to end. On a side note, in an interview that came out this week, Steve Martin revealed that Only Murders in the Building might possibly be the last project in entertainment he will ever do. He's looking into possibly going into retirement. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings about that, a lot of sadness and cries of "don't go, we'll miss you." But personally, my thought is, he's given us so much joy and laughter over the years. And Only Murders in the Building has just been one of the great joys, I've experienced in the last couple years. It is a show that is very unique, that has its own voice. It's very well put together, and I enjoy it every second of it. If this were to be Steve Martin's swan song, if this is the last thing he does before he rides off into the sunset to just kick back and relax for the rest of his life, it's quite a swan song, I'll tell you. It's a beautiful swan song. So I'd be okay with that. Let me know what you guys thought of Only Murders in the Building down in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click the notification bell to get updates on all my future videos, especially my last 2 Only Murders in the Building videos coming up real soon, within the next 2 weeks. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye, folks.